Okay, as promised, we're going to try to make something of this. It's like the ugly pumpkin here. So I'm just going to first, I don't know what kind of paint this had on it at all, but I'm just going to first just give it a light scuff sanding with my sanding pad just to make sure that it doesn't have anything that might stick. So that's the main thing that I'm going to do with this one, just to prep it a little bit. I'm really into the neutrals at this time for some reason for fall, so I'm going to try to give this kind of a creamy color. I haven't quite decided what color it's going to be, but I'm going to choose my color palette and kind of keep all of my pumpkins and probably even my gourd. I have a gourd here too, paper mache gourd, but I'm going to keep these all in the same family, or at least in the same, probably the same color scheme as I'm doing it. So I'm just going to start, and you can kind of get the gist of what I'm doing and hopefully see what comes out of it. All right, thanks. Okay, for the base of this, I'm going to use what's called porch swing. Here is, again, it's Amy Howard at home, one-step paint, and I'm just going to squirt some onto my little palette here. I'm going to need quite a bit. I should have probably brought another bowl out, but that's okay, and I'm just going to get started with it. Putting it on here, and I don't have to worry about this stem too much because I'm planning to put a darker shade on it. So if I don't, if I get some of the white paint on it, that's fine. All right, I'm just going to give it a good paint job, this ugly pumpkin. And then my plan is to use some of the linen over the top. I'm kind of going for what I think is sort of a Pottery barn look. I looked up their pumpkins this year to see what they had as far as white pumpkins, and that's kind of the idea that I came up with the creamy white colors, and so we'll see how it goes, and we'll speed up the video. Okay, we've got all of our pumpkins and the gourd painted with the porch swing, which is the off-white, and now I'm just going to use some of this linen color that's a little more of a beigey color anyway to kind of highlight. I'm just going to kind of brush a little bit of that on there, try to do it lightly actually, kind of a dry brush technique actually on it, and try to highlight the pumpkins a little bit, and then the finishing touches will be to paint the stem and then the veins around the sides of the pumpkins. So I'll just get started with this. I'm going to put some of the linen on my little plate here and just start doing, and again the little dry brush technique that I'll use will be to put a little paint, not very much, on my brush and kind of brush it on the paper first, and then lightly give it a bit of a brush onto the surface that we're trying to paint. Okay, I'm going to show you this again. I'm going to speed up the video here. Actually, I'll probably cut the video for right now and then come back when this part is finished. Just keep dabbing away at it a little bit, but I want some of that white to show definitely through. Not as much probably on the gourd as on the pumpkin, because those are larger pieces, but I'm just going to do some light brushing all the way around the gourd. It's kind of fun to do this part. Anyway, I will put the video on hold for right now. Okay, I've got all of my pieces painted now, and I'm just going to go ahead now and put a couple other colors in here. Whoop, if I can. My brown is a little dried up here, but let's see if I can get it to squirt out of there. Yep. Don't need too much, but this is going to be for the stems and for the veins. And I'm going to use a little bit of a blend, I think, of some brown and some gray for the for those pieces, and I'll have to see how it kind of goes together here. I'm just going to kind of dab away at it, I think, with my paintbrush. Use a relatively small brush here, and maybe I'll even blend in some of the linen for the stems. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to just go ahead and put some of that kind of light braid linen-y brown on my stems. Don't want it, you know, I just didn't want it too dark because I don't want a huge amount of contrast for it. I might add a little linen in there even to make it a little less of a contrast. Just a little light bit to kind of blend it together. You just have to use your own taste for this and see how you want it to turn out. And then for this, now that I did all of that, I was thinking of some of the gray added in too, but I'm not sure if I like that or not. Maybe if I add a little of the brown to it still. Just wanted to give this just a little definition. Ooh, my brush isn't going down very straight. To the veins is what I was trying to do here, but I think I'm just going to have to blend it kind of in there. I really don't want it too extreme. I'm going to have to come in with some linen over that, but I'm just going to kind of dab away at it and see what I can do just to put a little extra in these little thin bit in the veins of it, again, to give a little definition. And I'll speed up the video again as I'm doing this. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Ooh. Really, it gives it a little definition. I think I'm going to put a little more linen up at the top. Okay, I think that's pretty good actually. I want just a little flat on there here because I don't want Yep, I think that did a pretty good job here. And the gourd, again, is going to have a little more definition probably on that than the pumpkins may. I don't know. But I'm just going to go ahead and work on the pumpkins in similar fashion, doing their stems and then trying to get a little definition to the veins as well. And I'll be back. Okay, I think we are done with our project here, our little mini project. And our pumpkins actually turned out quite nicely, so I'm just going to go ahead and make a little arrangement with them, and you'll see how they look. Hopefully they will, you know, they could do with probably some wax on them, and so that would be the next step for me to do. This one, the big one, came out a little funny, but I think it looks credible at least. So the next step would probably be to put, like I said, some wax on them, so just some clear wax probably, but I'll get to that. But the other possibility with these pumpkins, just so you know, is that you can certainly do on the paper mache pumpkins, they do really well with decoupage on them, so we might have another session with that, but we'll probably be getting into the other holiday things as well. So for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and do the arrangement. Thanks for watching.